Hey everybody, welcome to Monday morning, and let's try and get this slideshow going. Okay, so I wanted to talk to y'all some about what to expect in the coming weeks because I think, understandably, everybody's been a little bit confused by week 3 where we paused and didn't have any new assignments, and so I wanted to talk to you guys about what to expect so that we can get everybody on the same page. So we're going to talk a little bit about deadlines, some changes in the course, and we're going to introduce assignment number 1. Big assignment number 1, in addition to your diagnostic. So as I said in the announcements last week, we had a big shakeup in registration. I think that essentially everything in the registration process is about a week or week and a half behind where it's supposed to be. So some of my sections had only 2 or 3 students in them for a while and then suddenly had 23. Others of my sections had 30 and then had 15 and then all of a sudden had 30 again. So registration has been bonkers, and I'm sure that it's been bonkers for you guys too. I've had some of you email me and tell me, Miss Toline, my classes got purged twice and I had to get everything added back in. So just know if you sent me a panicked email saying I just got added or I was added and then dropped and then added back in again, it's going to be okay. So take a moment, take a breath, and know that I understand. Things have been bonkers on my end too, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So if you're experiencing those problems, I want to give you time to catch up. But I also want to begin adding enough new material that those of you who have already completed the week 1 and 2 assignments won't get bored, right? I don't want you just sitting around. Originally, last week, my plan was to put some new material up so that some of you could get ahead, but then everything went crazy and there were some issues with Moodle. I was spending a lot more time on registration problems than I expected to be, and so I apologize for not getting that posted for you. Those of you who still want to get ahead are going to get the chance this week. I'll talk about that in a second. So this week what we're going to do is a hybrid between what we did last week and what we've been doing. My original plan was that we would start on a new essay this week. I don't think that we're going to be able to do that. There are still too many people trying to catch up. So I'm going to have to revamp some things about the schedule and the assignments for the course. So again this week, there are going to be no new long assignments. So there's not a writing assignment this week. Instead, I have something I want you to listen to. And I also am going to post a lecture video in addition to this one to introduce what we're going to be working on in the next unit so that those of you who want to can go ahead and get ahead. And then I'm going to post a small short quiz just so that you guys can make sure you're on the right track and can know whether you're doing the right things. So that's going to give new admits time to go back and complete the week 1 to 2 work. And then hopefully you'll have a little bit of time to still look at this week's lecture. And then I'm also going to post the week 5 material early so that those of you who want to get ahead can go ahead and do that. Because the week of 5 assignment is going to be a rough draft or a set of writer's notes that will be related to your first longer assignment. So a couple of other house cleaning things I wanted to talk about in addition to the assignments that we're going to be doing. Some of you are still waiting on textbooks to arrive, especially if you just got added to the course. I've heard that the bookstore is out of the textbook. Some people have ordered it online and are waiting for it to arrive. So again, if you've sent me a panicked email about that, I get it. Let's make the best of it. I'll post some PDFs for this week. So I'll post PDFs of the things that you need this week. And then after this week, at the end of this week on Sunday, if you still don't have a book, please get in touch with me via email and let me know so that we can figure out what to do. All right, also giving feedback. Again, because of some of the weird administration issues, registration issues that happened last week, I was spending more time on that than I expected to be. So I'm still working on giving feedback on the week 1 and 2 assignments. So if you haven't gotten that back yet, Don't panic. I'm not going to make you do anything with it until I've had time to give it back to you. So this is going to be, I'm still giving feedback on those diagnostics, but going forward, after this sort of messy first couple of weeks, you can generally expect a 1 week turnaround on feedback. So you submit something on a Sunday, I will give you feedback by the following Sunday. So the example I give here is if you hand something in on the 7th of the month, you should expect it to be graded by the 14th. So that's how feedback will work going forward. And feedback on future assignments is going to be done through Turnitin, which you have access to through Moodle. And there's a specific way that you access assignments in Turnitin, and I'm going to post an instructional video for you to watch the first time that we do a Turnitin assignment so that you'll understand how to access your feedback, because it's a little bit different. But on the diagnostic essay, it's going to be more general. It's submitted to you straight through Moodle, and it will be general advice. So I am not going in and editing your diagnostic essays for you. Instead, I'm going to give you a big picture about the things that I'd like you to focus on or to work on as we move forward into the semester, because that's what the diagnostic essay is. So I want to repeat that. The diagnostic essay is an assignment that gives you a sense of where you are in terms of the material that we're going to be doing. And so my feedback on it is based on giving you some advice. Going forward, here are the things that I want you to think about when you're working on your essays, or the things where I think you're doing a good job and the areas where I think you might need to improve. So that's how the feedback will work on that assignment. So I kind of just said this, but there's a reason why I did feedback the way that I did on those diagnostic essays. A few of you emailed me and were concerned because I was asking you to do a revision assignment before you received feedback, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is that in this class, I eventually want you to get to the point where you're relying on your own editorial skills, not just on my feedback. So you need to learn to edit based on your own judgment instead of just waiting around for me to tell you what to do, because even if I gave you some edits on your paper and you went back and changed exactly what I told you to change, you're still not making that paper perfect, right? Because the idea of editing is that you need to decide what will be helpful to you in order to conform more to the types of assignments that we're doing. So you need to learn how to use your own judgment. And there's a reason for that. It sounds really scary, but what happens when you get out of my class? Right? What happens if you get used to relying on me to tell you what to do, and then you get out and you have to write a paper and your teacher won't edit it for you? How are you going to handle that? Right? So you need to learn. My job is to teach you those skills, not to tell you what to do. So this was an experimental assignment, and it was to allow you to see what changes you chose to make without feedback from me. So if I'm left totally to my own devices and all I have is the textbook and the lecture, how am I going to make decisions about how to edit my own paper? And that's what I wanted you to play around with. So it might have felt like I left you a little bit on the weeds, and I'm sorry about that. I did it on purpose, which I know is a little scary, but I promise I'm also going to go easy on you, right? If I think that you're having some struggles or some trouble, I'm not going to come after you wagging a finger, especially because this was a diagnostic assignment, meaning it's about participation. It's about trying. Not about getting it perfect. So I just didn't want anybody to panic about that. On future assignments, we will do rough drafting, but you're going to be expected to begin editing before you receive feedback, because remember I told you it's going to take me a week to get that feedback back to you. So your editing is going to need to be based on your knowledge of what the essay is supposed to look like. And every week in the lecture, I'm going to help you try to figure out how to do that. I just want to make sure that you guys aren't using just me as the only voice that you listen to when making decisions about your essay and how to edit. Feedback is just a guideline. So I wanted to make that point about the feedback. A couple of other housekeeping things. The calendars. Beginning of the semester, I posted calendars for you. Those are now all shot, right? Everything has changed. Deadlines are going to be pushed back. So keep an eye out for edited calendars. I'll let you know when they're posted, but keep an eye out for those. And I'm also going to start trying to go through the Moodle and posting all the assignments that we're going to do throughout the semester. So this week, that's one of my goals, is to get our assignments all posted so that those of you who are go-getters and like to get ahead can see what we're going to be working on and see the deadlines. And hopefully after this week, those will be finalized. So now let's move forward. That was all housekeeping stuff. So, keep this PowerPoint so that you can know what to expect going forward. And then please move on to the next video and slideshow, because it's going to help you begin on your first big assignment for the course, which for 110 is the narrative essay. So I'm really excited to be working with you guys. I just want to tell you all, I appreciate you wading through sort of the confusion of the registration stuff, and I appreciate those of you who have gotten in touch with me to let me know when you're going to be late or when you have questions. Hopefully you've seen email really is the fastest way to get in touch with me, but I'm also going to be doing office hours this week, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video. All right, guys, let's go for it.